And we are live. All right. Welcome to the Mickey G podcast.
All right. Thank you for watching the Mickey G channel, starring Mickey G.
Thank you.
And also JB the God Killer. We have a great show lined up for you guys tonight. Give it up for our special guests, Leslie and Saline.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, you guys. We really appreciate it. This is the Mickey G channel. We have a special show lined up. One could say a tragic show.
Bittersweet. It's a good show, but we have some bad things to talk about.
Yeah, okay. But regardless, we're here to spread only positivity.
Awareness.
And awareness, exactly. We want people to be responsible. We want people to know the truth and...
nothing but the truth.
Amen, JB. All right, so let me just... I want to preface...
Yeah, give us the backstory.
Okay, preface. We're going to be talking about Blue Ribbon Pet Grooming. And apparently it kind of stretches a little bit further than that as well. But either way, regardless, what the main thing we're going to be talking about is that there's been a lot of complaints about one certain pet grooming business.
Business
that has several locations.
Okay.
And that business is called Blue Ribbon Pet Grooming. And so this is what I see on Facebook. Let's bring this up. Okay, hold on. Let me change the source. Yeah, but this is what I see on Facebook. It's a post that is shared by a lot of people. Please beware of Blue Ribbon Pet Grooming Harlingen. After having my dogs groomed here for the first time because our usual groomer was closed, Paris, which is the name of the dog, I'm guessing, right?
Yes.
Just making sure.
My child, thank you.
All right, just checking. Started bleeding in her eyes. I took her to the vet thinking it was something else, and right away the vet told me that it's bruising from being strangled or trauma to her head. I do not hit my dogs, which that's a good thing. She pointed that out, right? Okay. I do not hit my dogs, nor do they wear collars. So the vet asked, has she been to the groomers? The night the bleeding started was the day I took her to be groomed, and I'm very disappointed and hurt. Do I have all that right, Saline?
Yes, that's basically how it went down. I took my dog to the vet, and I was thinking I heard something about a kennel cough or kennel syndrome. That was a lot of dogs are passing around. Okay. So I was like, oh my God, my dog's becoming a zombie. Like something's happening to her. So I took her to the vet. Yeah. And two of the vet's assistants came in, and they're looking at her like, oh, we haven't seen this before. How odd. And they checked her. They're like, temperature's normal. There's everything's normal. I was like, yeah, but what's going on with her eyes? And I was like, I did some Googling, but I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, Google told me this, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, I had to bring her to y'all. So once the vet walked in, he literally grabbed her, looked at her, and right away he's like, oh, that's bruising from strangulation. I was like, what do you mean strangulation? Like, I don't choke my dogs.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, just because like when they're strangled, it pops a vessel. So that's why the blood came out through her eyes. I was like, oh, my baby.
Oh, wow.
And that's when he's like, oh, maybe if you tugged her too hard. I was like, they don't wear their collars. Like, and I'm pretty much home all day. So I can see if something happened to them. There's no high places for them to fall to get that trauma that he also brought up to my attention, but none of it was adding up. So then I was like, no, I really don't know what could have happened. Like, she's always like just laying down with me. Like, she's a chill dog. And he was like, well, maybe when you groomed her. I was like, no, I take her to a groomer's. And that's when they like looked at each other and looked at me. And he's like, when did you take her to the groomer's last? I was like, 2 days ago, Monday. And he's like, and that's when the bleeding started. And that's when it hit me. And I kind of got quiet for a minute. I was just like, yeah.
Well, it hit them too.
Yeah. Then I was just like, and I felt so bad too, because that's not my usual groomer. So I was like, man, if I would have just waited that one day, because my groomer's closed on Monday and went Tuesday, this could have been avoided.
Right.
I hope. But then, yeah, I felt so sad. And I was just happy that she wasn't in a very bad condition. So after my post, I saw so much experiences where their dogs had it worse. So I was just more relieved in my sense, not calling and telling them anything. I was just like, I'm happy my dog got the better end of it. She was fine. She was playing. She wasn't really too much crying. It's just there was blood on the floor. So that night before I even recognized her eyes, there's like little droplets all over our floor because we have white tile.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, is she in heat? I checked her, nothing. And then that night she had looked up at me like in a certain angle. That's when I saw all the blood. I was like, oh my God. So I was there like trying to clean her face. I didn't post a picture, but she had like literally blood like all on her fur too and her paws.
Oh my God.
So I guess she like touched
She
it or
was-
what she was
she
trying to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't know.
Wow, that's crazy. And those are the pictures that you posted?
Yeah, that's the picture I posted.
Oh my God. And so it didn't come out right away, or you just didn't notice it right away?
No, so on Monday, which is the day she got groomed, it was very little. So when she looked, I did check her eyes. Like I said, I could not find why she had blood on her fur.
Right.
And she just had a little bit, but I thought it was like us humans, like, when we pull our eye back, how we could see like veins.
Right.
So I was like, oh, that's her. So I checked my other dog who also got groomed there. He didn't have that. So I was like, maybe it's just her. Weird. So then the next day I checked back again, and on one eye, it was completely red already. Oh. And then the day I took her to the vet, which is Wednesday, that's when she had it on both. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm concerned because it's obviously growing. But they gave me eye drops, and now it's kind of going away, but she still has it like pretty swollen on the top. But she's been good for the most part.
Oh, wow. That's insane. Yeah, and we also have Leslie with us as well. And Leslie, you are you're a professional dog groomer.
Yeah, so I've been a professional dog groomer for, it's about to be 10 years now.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Quite a while.
I don't think I've done anything for 10 years.
Except lived.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. Have you heard of situations like this?
Yeah, I definitely have, and I have heard a lot of bad reviews from, like, specifically Blue Ribbon, and a few other salons, but I've heard a lot of bad
What
things
are
from
they?
Blue Ribbon. Well,
What
we'll
are
leave
their
that
names?
for the next show.
Oh my, yeah, and even myself too. What happened was we had taken our dog, we have a Shih Tzu, to Blue Ribbon, and that was the only place that when we brought him back, he had scratches all over his groin area. I get after my wife. She's gonna get after me if I say this, but like I get after her because sometimes she could come off as like inappropriate. Like somebody had posted about Blue Ribbon previously, and so I commented, yeah, Jake's testicles were all cut up, and then my wife comments, yeah, Jake's balls were all like, what the, it's not as proper to.
Hey man, that's the truth.
It's definitely awkward. Like sometimes when I'm like going over the notes for like dog grooming, like even older people, they'll be like, make sure you shave his balls, and I'll be like, oh, okay, yes.
I guess she's just an old soul. Like they're more used to just saying it,
Just outright.
Yeah.
Like,
it is what it is.
that way you don't not understand. Like you completely understand.
Yeah, exactly. So like, what do you think? Do you think that's what happened? That they strangled this? They strangled this dog.
I mean, I can only speculate, but yeah, it does seem like when they use a grooming loop, it usually goes around their neck. So if they're pulling on that or anything like that, or if the groomer is yanking them around or anything like that, it can cause like the breaking of blood vessels in the eyes. And usually to avoid anything like that, I'll put the loop like around the shoulder so they don't have any pressure around the neck at all.
Oh, okay. So you use a loop, but it goes around like it's like a
cross.
like
It's almost like those harnesses.
harness.
Yeah, like a harness.
Like a harness. Thank you, JB. That's why I have them here. I'm horrible with vocabulary. Okay. Okay, but regardless, so that's really what this groomer should have done. Should have put it around the shoulders, and
I mean, if that was what was causing it, but I mean, it could be like, they were holding the dog around the neck with their hands or anything like that.
Could have been they were just strangling.
Yeah,
And that's what kind of surprised me, because some of the bad reviews that like the same thing kind of happened to their dogs, like with the eyes, the blood in the eye, it goes back years. So it's like you would think as a groomer seeing these reviews, you would change the way you hold the dog, or like use a harness instead of the leash. But obviously they're not listening.
Yeah,
They just don't care.
Yeah, and that's insane.
Or
Is
he's a
that
sicko or something.
And that's like the funny thing, because when you go into those groomers, I don't know if you remember the inside of the building, the door to go back there literally says beware, and it has a picture of a lion. So I feel like that's kind of some like,
oh my god,
Subliminal
it's
messages.
ominous.
yeah, because like the lady's like, oh, stay here. And like at the other groomers I go to, they let me go take my dog to the kennel. And she's like, oh, stay right here, and took the dog in. And it's like,
Okay, let's check this out, because this is what I just did a general Facebook search on blue ribbon pet grooming, and like the fact that this comes up is like mind blowing. Is that they've really been in trouble in the past. All right, let's bring it up. Where are we at?
Out of her head is at the center of an animal abuse investigation, getting a lot of feedback online. Local 23's Derek Garcia is at the groomer where the dog was allegedly strangled. Derek, what are you learning?
Good evening, Brenda. They brought their dog Holly to come get a fresh cut here at Blue Ribbon Pet Grooming in Brownsville. They ended up
This
going
is
to
the location in
veterinarian
Brownsville.
because, just as you said, her eyes were bulging out of her head. Now Brownsville police are stepping in, and if you have children at home who are watching the news, you might want to cover their eyes. This is Melissa Ruiz's Shih Tzu Holly, a healthy 9 pounds and just 1 year old. She's a beloved member.
That could have been my Jake. My Jake's a Shih Tzu.
They didn't know if Holly would survive the
These
weekend.
people sound like they have a
brought her to get
target,
fresh
like a
cut at Blue
specific
Ribbon
dog.
Grooming in Brownsville.
Yeah, they go
When
after a
came to
certain
pick
breed
her
of
up,
dog.
Something was off.
And he brings her back like this. And Holly is just like, he's touching her head like this. Shaking for her. And I'm like looking at her, and he's like, and finally when she goes, I'm like, oh my God, what happened to her?
Holly looked like this, eyes blood red and bulging out of her skull. A veterinarian confirmed 9-pound little Holly had been choked or strangled. The employees didn't tell her anything had happened, but did give her a different version as to why Holly's eyes were bulging out of her head.
Oh no, we had an incident in the back. Like we were trying to shower her, and her foot got stuck on the drain. But don't worry, man, we took it out right away. But because of due to the stress that she was there, like the foot was stuck. That's why I took it out. Like I took it out right away, and her eye.
Have you ever seen that, Leslie? Have you seen a dog's eyes bleed from stress?
Not bleed. They can get a little bloodshot. They can
Right.
get a little red. Just
Yeah,
like
'cause-
with people, but not to the point where they're bleeding.
Right.
Yeah, like I have a dog, and yeah, it gets sometimes its eyes get like stressed out and there's redness, but there's a total huge difference from that.
Where
and
blood's literally coming out of your eyes.
exactly. And what did like after you took them out? Did they say anything? Did you? Say, it was just
it was
normal.
an older woman there, and like I felt like she was so nice, and we are like joking and making small talk. And when she opened the doors, both my dogs ran out. And now that I think back to it, Paris was the one that ultimately got injured.
Yeah.
She didn't run out first, and she's the one that's like my baby girl. She comes
Right.
out.
Yeah.
So the boy came out, he was sniffing around, and she's like, Paris, vente, Paris. And like she didn't want to come out of that room. So I was like, that's kind of weird. And then she ran out and then like jumped into me. But I didn't think nothing of it. But now I look back, I'm like, oh, like that poor dog, she was probably like scared to like walk past whoever was back there or something.
Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
She was already traumatized. Man, and do you know I've tried to groom my dog before, and it's like incredibly difficult. There's
Me
certain
too.
there's certain angles you just
I can't
can't.
do it.
You can't.
She thinks I'm playing with her, like, so she starts like,
Oh no,
I'm
my
like, no,
dogs like
dude, like-
love it. Like they used to shower with me, and I'll literally carry them in there and scrub them, shampoo,
Yeah.
conditioner, put them on the floor, finish. And it's just I can't cut their hair, so that's why I started taking them to the groomer because they grew a little bit bigger. My
Yeah.
puppy's only like 7 months; they're babies.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, y'all need to start going somewhere professional because I can't do
Right.
it right. So that's why when her eyes were like that, and I had did the googling like, oh, trauma, choking. I was like, no, like they wouldn't hit her. Like she's literally so chill. Like both of them love to be showered. You can like grab them anywhere.
She's not aggressive.
No.
She's not like
They bark at mailmen, but they won't bite. Like they're not
Right.
like that at all. So that's why I was like, she's sick. Like there's no way she got hit. Like I know I don't hit my dogs. He doesn't hit the dogs. If
Right.
anything, he'll be like, oh, spank them. I can't do it. I'm like, dude. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's always left up to me, and even then, I still don't do it.
Yeah, and that's why earlier I posted it, all of the Google reviews for Blue Ribbon Pet Groom. So this is what somebody told me, through the DMs, is that they described Blue Ribbon as a hellhole. They named the owner by name, the original owner, okay. And then afterwards, he sold it to his buddy, who was just as bad. Deaths occurred under both ownership, including the Harlingen location. Let's see, and also open. I just don't want to name any names, so I'm trying to go through the information. Okay, okay.
Nah, name them, dude. Screw
They
it.
cover up deaths like a dog that died Christmas Eve that hung itself because of negligence. They told the owner that the dog was old and had a stroke, and but it wasn't. It's because the dog hung itself and they weren't paying attention to it. They would cut the dog's nails and they would cut the vein on accident and they would burn it with a hot iron. Okay. Yeah. And apparently there was an incident with a lady who her husky was killed. One of the employees picked up the dog by the back of the neck and the tail. So lifting it 3 feet to put it on top of a table, but the dog weighed 125 pounds. So it broke its back. She made a police report, made a big stink about it, and nothing was ever done because apparently the previous owners helped in the DA campaign. So,
And that's the Harlingen location, or they didn't say?
the Brownsville location and Harlingen location were both, from what I'm told, I don't know this. This is all hearsay. Here in the Mickey G channel, we don't do our due diligence. We
Legally, we're not obligated or connected to any sort of, like persons or things. We're just here because people are like speaking out. They didn't want to speak out before, but something's happening.
Where there's
Something's happening
smoke,
at
there's
this place.
fire.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
and so that's why, these, we're just saying what we hear, and
Right.
so do with it what you
If
want.
we're wrong, Blue Ribbon can go ahead and
Go after
call
JB.
us.
You can call JB, and
They
JB
can
will
call
talk
me,
to you.
explain everything. If it's just all a misunderstanding, then it's a misunderstanding. But it doesn't sound like that at all.
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. And so I don't know this for sure, but what they're saying is that the same owner for the Brownsville location is the same owner for the Harlingen location. And afterwards, he sold the business to one of his buddies, who she's telling me is just as bad. And apparently, because they still have very serious issues, all of these events occurred after the supposed he sold it to his buddies. So something's something's not right. And even personally, two people in this room have, been
Had
affected.
incidents,
Yeah, had
yeah.
incidents.
That's already like one person too many.
Exactly. And, but I guess what I was trying to say is I'm, my dogs are pretty or Jake at least, pretty well behaved, but there's some angles to where he just won't move. Like he won't, work with me. But what do you usually do? Like, is there what's the worst thing a dog doesn't let you do that you kind of have to work with?
So a lot of dogs are pretty bad with their face. Like they just don't like their face being messed with, so they'll try to bite. And typical things, like a lot of dogs don't like their feet being touched or their nails being clipped. But usually if you're just patient and just talk to them, just calm them down, you can do it eventually. And I've been doing it so long that I'm just used to it already. So a dog will be biting at my face and I'm just I don't even, it doesn't even affect me at all.
I've seen dogs that are horrible, totally not, won't cooperate at all. What do they eventually calm down? All of them?
Most of them do, yeah. Some dogs are a little aggressive, but most dogs are not aggressive. Some dogs react to some things, they don't like the kennel, they don't like when you're near their owner. But usually when you get used to a dog, you can figure out what triggers it, what it likes, what it's not okay with.
What would be the worst scenario that you've had with a dog, that you can think of?
Yeah, so there's just sometimes when you just have to know, I can't do it. Like I can't do it. Like
Yeah.
it'll be too stressful on the dog. So when that happens, you just have to call the owner and let him know like I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm sorry. You can
Instead
try,
of
like,
strangling them.
and you know, some people don't want to lose the sale. They don't want to lose the customer, but
Yeah.
that's the best thing for them.
Yeah. Tell them, unless you want me to strangle your dog, I'm not going to let you.
I know. That's why I said like get consent to be a little forceful, so I would understand. Like when Paris with a girl dog was affected, I was surprised it wasn't the boy because he's the one that he likes to play. So he'll start trying to bite you or like he gets ticklish. So when they're like, oh yeah, she probably wasn't listening, I was like, she's good. He's the one I'm concerned about, but he was the one that was like untouched.
Right.
So I was just like so thrown off. Because he's the one that gives me a hard time, like what she said. Like, when you, like, touch his face, like, I'll try to like, wipe away mocos, and he's just like...
Yeah. But the girl's good, and the girl was...
And she's the one that got hurt. That's why I feel so bad for her. Because I was like, there's literally no reason to hurt her. Even with the leash or walking, she's perfect. So I was like, I don't see why she'd struggle if the leash... Because, like, I try to, like, think of the bright side of it and, like, convince myself they did not hit my dog. They did not hit my dog. So, like, maybe when they were just trying to do their job, she, like, yanked herself too hard and did it to herself. But the vet's like, she would have put that much force to hurt herself like that.
Right.
Like, they had applied that
No,
much
it's
force.
it's like somebody almost doing like a chokehold. Yeah, like
that's why I was like, I don't know what happened to her. Because, like, the other groomers I've been to, they've never had issues with my dog. Like, they were great. Like, they're the first ones out. So, like, they'll skip some dogs to get to my dog. So they know my dogs are not an issue at all for them. So, like, I'd rather get your dogs out of the way.
right.
And you said that you were a little hesitant to put up the post on Facebook.
Yeah, I was thinking people were going to be like, oh, like, I was really just expecting reactions from family. Like, oh, pobrecita, you know? And then I woke up the next morning, 700 shares. I was like, whoa, like people really do care about the dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I had even people reach out to me in my message request. They're like, oh my God, you better call them and bitch at them. And they're like, don't. And then I had another lady, actually, I just read it on my way over here. She's like, oh, I caught them. And I was like, who the hell do y'all have in the back? Like, shame on y'all. And like that. She's like, yeah, I went off on them, but you should call them and shake things up too. But I was like, I'm not really that confrontational type.
I'm very curious of their response. Like,
yeah, that's why I was like, if I call them and like try to tell them shit, I feel like they're gonna hang up on me. I'll maybe even more mad and like go John
Go
Wick.
to the place yourself, like face to face, and be like, hey, like, why?
Hey, what?
No, just my little self right there. Like, why do you do that? Like, no. I was like, I don't want to
yeah,
embarrass
like,
myself.
hey, like, what's your problem?
Like maybe that lady can like body slam me or something because she was a bigger woman.
I'll go with you. I'll fight her.
Oh,
I'll fight her.
Yeah, that sounds
what the
good.
hell's your
I'll fire her
problem,
off.
Jamie?
Like, she has a question for you. That's it.
Jamie's been on edge recently. You should.
He's just been waiting for the opportunity to jump.
I started training again though.
Yeah. He was like, no, you got to go in person and tell them like, hey, why?
No, you're right. Because if you try to call or whatever, they can like, oh, hang up, or you know.
Yeah, because like what I was thinking in my head is if I go confront them and like I do want to get the cops involved, which I did talk to someone, so that's kind of pending right now. I don't want them to delete camera footage or get time to get the story straight. But hey, like this lie makes sense, you know. But then when I posted my thing and I got so many responses of the exact same thing happening to their dogs, I was like, okay, it is not in my head. Like something's going on here. And then especially in 2 locations, that's the sad part. Like it's not even it's just this groomer in Harlingen. Like no, it's happening in Brownsville. And I actually had my grandma reach out to me. She's like, yeah, like, I can't believe you took him there. Like, did you know your aunt's husky died? That's why I asked, like, hey, was that husky one in Brownsville?
Oh, my gosh.
And I was like, really? Because I remember I gifted her a husky, like,
that was
years
your
ago.
aunt's husky?
I can't say. I don't know for sure. But in Brownsville one, they killed the dog, a husky. That's why I was like, is that in Brownsville? Because I barely found that out. And I remember, like, not so long ago, we went to my aunt's house, and the husky wasn't there. And I asked her. She said, oh, yeah, it passed away. But she didn't tell me. So when my grandma called me telling me, I was like, oh, my God. I was like, and I took the dogs there.
I don't see any scenario of me, like, if my dog died, like, at the hands of a groomer, there's no way you're not stopping me.
Oh, no, for sure.
From
I'd go
going
full
over
John Wick.
there,
That's why I was like, I'm just so grateful
Finding
my
the
dog's
fucking groomer and, like,
Full
being
John
like,
Wick.
Oh,
Like, how do you like being strangled? Nah.
hell yeah.
Oh, wow, you're going to strangle the groomer. Well, yeah.
In front of all of his, like, coworkers, too.
All the dogs
like,
just watching.
As an
It's
example.
a female.
Like,
You're making this person a guy now.
if she did it, if the female did it, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like,
I don't.
I'm not
hit women.
sexist,
Now
dude.
you're
I'm not
equal.
sexist. Yeah, I'm equal. I'm equal, dude. I have to be now.
Oh my God. Okay, but so for and this is a scary thing to do is to trust somebody with
A stranger, trusting a stranger.
Yeah, exactly to deal with your pet. And you know what? This is why this Facebook group was started. Let me bring it up. Here we go. It's called RGV Dog Grooming, Boarding Trainers, Vets, animal rescue reviews.
I should probably join this.
Yeah, and this is where I found Leslie, and you could check out this. You could check out this page, and it's for people to feel totally open about leaving honest reviews, so that you could make sure that your pet is with somebody that's trustworthy. And I'm seeing all my posts there. Yeah, so it's called RGV Dog Grooming Boarding Trainers Vets Animal Rescue Reviews.
Dude, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So any type of animal reviews, if you have a negative experience or a positive experience, like with Leslie here, then you can go to this Facebook page.
There's not a lot of people on there either. Just,
and put it.
Just 2,000 people.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
In perspective of Facebook, though, like,
Well,
that's a little bit. That's not a lot.
What's the RGB? So yeah. Well, yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, in the RGV, there's only 2,000 people. No.
And like it only takes a minute to scroll through that, and that's like where I wanted to spread awareness. Like, just take the time and read the damn reviews. Like, my thing was, I woke up at 9 a.m, got both my dogs in the car by myself, and like I said, my boy's very playful, so literally the other day I had to run down the street to catch him, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
So when I got to my first groomers, and they're like, oh, we're closed on Mondays, I was like, I already have them out. I had the hassle of getting them in and out of the car because I literally had both of them when I walked into the groomers, and they're like, oh, we can't take them because we're closed. Like, so that's when I Googled what was next to me. I went to Pretty Paws, and when I got there, I got them off again, that hassle, and they're like, oh, we're booked up till April. I was like, okay. And that's when I Googled the next one, Blue Ribbon. And I remember my mom used to take her dog there. So I was like, oh, let me just take them. And I was like, if I would have just scrolled, and like literally as you see the Google review says 3 stars. So one of my cousins called, he's like, I don't know why the 3 stars didn't set up a red flag. I was like, dude, I was tired. I just wanted to drop them off somewhere so I can go back home.
This was the 5th place I'm at already.
So I was like, oh, like if I would have just taken that extra 5 seconds to just scroll a little bit, all the bad reviews were there.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's my part where I feel bad and guilty because I could have easily just scrolled and looked, but I was cerca on my head like, no, my mom brought him here. But when my mom went with her dog again, a Shih Tzu, she was like, yeah, and this is before I had a pet. So at the time I thought she was crazy. I was like, Mom, she's just a dog. She doesn't like to be groomed. She's like, no, she goes there. Once we get into the parking lot, she starts crying like crazy. That's not like my baby. I was like, Mom, she just doesn't, she's cerca, right? Yeah. And then now I'm in that situation. And when I called her to tell her, she's like, I fucking told you. And I was like, I'm so sorry. It was like, it literally took me to be a pet parent to understand when your dog's acting weird, right? So like, I was like, I'm so sorry, Mom. Like, that is my fault.
Silver lining though, like, I know you didn't want to speak out about this, but it looks like it's getting a lot of traction.
No, and I'm honestly glad, like, besides the people telling me to harass the people, I did get some positive ones, like, oh, I hope your dog's okay, but here's who I have. Like, even one of my neighbors had sent me a number, like, oh, this girl goes to your house and she's always taking care of our dogs. And my neighbor, he does business with like very like great people, so literally he's already sent us like a person to do our yard, a person to wash our cars, all great people. So I was like, okay, like, ciao, like I got someone good to come.
Leslie will do all of that for
and now I know Leslie as well, so it's like it works.
Yeah, if you pay her just a little bit more, she'll cut your yard and everything.
And the yard? Wow.
Yeah.
Does it matter the square footage or
Nope.
Do it all.
Yeah, she'll edge it and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, so oh my gosh, that's why, and I'm actually thinking back too. Like, this kind of gets me to think back to when I dropped off my dog. Like, did I notice anything?
And then I had comments, people like, oh my god, I just booked an appointment, I'm not gonna go, or like, oh, I take my dog here all the time, like that's so sad.
Yeah.
So like, I'm so glad that it kind of did go like quote unquote viral. Like I said, I was expecting just a few reactions from my family, and then I saw the 700 shares. I was like, oh my god, like this is serious.
Yeah.
It is serious. Like,
but I'm glad I posted it because at a point I was like, I'm just gonna do my Google review. But I was like, you know what, let me share it on Facebook. Like, I know a lot of my friends have dogs, so I literally did it for my own friends. And then the fact that they shared it and it went into groups and stuff, I was like, okay, like that's good. Like, so more people are aware. I was like, I kind of want to go outside and like stick a sticker like of my dog and be like, don't go here. But I don't want her to go like chase me off with a broom or something. But I did think about it, like just a little protest there in the front.
Yeah,
don't be
we can.
here.
We can set up a podcast protest or whatever.
Yeah,
Our
right.
group,
A little
group
boycott.
page protest.
Yeah, here at the Mickey G channel, we don't condone animal cruelty. No, not good.
Not of any sorts.
Nope, not good at all.
And the funny thing is, when I walked in there to take my dogs to get groomed, one of them pooped like a big old turd. She didn't even help me pick it up. And I was like there feeling bad, like cleaning it and like scrubbing it out of the carpet there. And now I look back, my damn, I should have like smeared it.
Just left
left
it
it
there.
there.
Oh my
I'm gonna go
God.
back and just throw their pads at the window.
Like, I don't work here.
No, like this is y'all's mess.
I shouldn't have cleaned up the poop.
I shouldn't. I just should
smeared
have left it there. But oh, he went over there. Sorry. But no, I was like, oh, give me the towel and like I'll clean it. Like I felt so bad, and now I'm like, damn, I should have just left it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leslie, what's typical? How do you say it? Manners when some dog poops in your.
Well, I mean, I always prefer if the owner gets it, but I always offer. I'm like, no, don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it.
I know. That's why I like offered to clean. I was waiting for the lady, but oh no, mija, it's okay. I'll get it. And she's like, oh here, like she already had it. I was like, okay. Just, like, there I was, half awake, picking up dog shit.
This ain't the holiday yet.
I know. I was like, oops.
You can't just go somewhere and poop in there and just expect them to clean it up.
I do though. I clean it.
Yeah. Do they ever use the restroom while you're?
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely do.
Yeah, because I feel like my dogs are there for hours, like at the groomers. So like they have to,
Do something.
use the restroom. And what do you do with it?
You just clean it.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you'll bathe it. You'll put it in the kennel, and then you'll go get your station ready. You'll come back, and they have like pooped and got it all over themselves.
I was gonna say, do they
Yes, they
poop
have-
all over
Yeah,
themselves?
all the time.
Oh my god.
No, that happened to my dog once. At my usual groomers, I had brought her home and she just pissed herself. And I was like, girl, like you just got clean. So there I was having to clean her again.
then you want to strangle her.
Right?
Yeah, like I said, we don't condone violence here at the Mickey G channel. Okay. Yeah. Have you guys, on another note, have you guys seen Love is Blind season 6?
No. I'm not watching that.
I like bringing that up to everybody I know, just to see if they.
Is that the show that Megan Fox looked like?
exactly?
I see. I don't know why they're
Exactly.
giving her such a hard time.
Yeah, she looks like
In the
Megan
eyes,
Fox.
in the
Yeah.
eyes. She looks
Well,
more like Megan Fox than Megan Fox does right now because Megan Fox is going through like an identity crisis. Have you seen that picture of her?
Yeah, I've seen it. to
I
where
didn't
they-
even see
she's
her.
got a
They're
lot
like,
of
yeah,
work
that's
done.
her. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, never did I
But this
think.
girl doesn't have the thumbs though, the way Megan Fox.
Oh
does.
yeah, a lot of people criticize her thumbs. Yeah, but they try to find anything about anybody, dude. Try to break women down. I think she looks like Megan Fox.
I see it in the eyes.
No, I think she looks like Megan Fox. I don't think she overall looks
What did
like
you
Megan
bring up
Fox.
this Love Is Blind?
I s-
bullcrap?
He just likes to talk about his
I like
favorite
the
show.
I like the show.
He does. No, I've been here like after the podcast. So just like
He's wearing the shirt right
just
now. You don't see it.
He subconsciously puts it on Netflix and just puts it on that show, and then I'm
Oh,
there.
that's true. You were here when I was watching it.
we were there talking, and then all of a sudden I'm like watching the show too.
It gets quiet. You're just both zoned out.
I'm like, this is terrible, but I'm in it.
Yeah,
No, that's how it
it
happens.
sucks you
That's
in.
how it
It
goes.
sucks you. I'm telling you, even if you hate reality shows,
I'm like, he's totally like bluffing, like, and she's crazy. Like, what's going on? Like,
yeah, it gets you. It gets you. I'm telling you, even if you're totally against reality
wait,
shows,
what was the point of this?
that I just wanted to talk about Love Is Blind, season 6.
I guess to lighten the mood.
No,
yeah,
I always bring it up to everybody I know just to see their reaction, just to see if they're watching.
He's
it.
making like a checklist.
list.
Like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
this person does, this person does.
In the
this.
Death Notebook.
Yeah, that way I could create my own Facebook group and we just talk about Love Is Blind season 6.
Everybody on the list. That's how you.
Yeah,
That's who
they-
you're inviting.
Yeah, so expect an invite.
Only those people.
Yeah, but when and it's hard too because like I've gone to like different groomers and stuff like that, and sometimes there's like little scratches, and you just don't know what's happening behind the scenes. You don't know if somebody is like.
Because it's so easy to fake it too. Because even my usual groomer, I saw negative comments about her too. I was like, my groomer, like she's so sweet, and like I walked in while they're cleaning my dogs, and they're not rough at all. But I saw people like, oh, don't take them here where I go. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Leslie, I've heard great things about you. What have you dealt with people saying horrible things about you?
Oh yeah, I've definitely had a lot of negative reviews. Like the way I say like
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes I have to call people and be like I just can't do it. Well, recently I had a dog and I bathed it, I did its nails, I cleaned its ears, I did its entire body, groomed. And when it came to the face, I just couldn't do it. Like the dog was stressing out too much. It was biting. I called the lady, and her mom were like furious. Even though I didn't charge them for anything, because I don't charge if I can't complete. But they were furious.
Wow.
They left all these negative reviews. They posted pictures. They were like, they didn't do anything to my dog. I'm like, I bathed it, shaved it, like cut its nails, and
You didn't get charged for it either.
and I'm like, you wanted me to like stress your dog out, like.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are very like not understanding when it comes to something like that. Like
Yeah.
they expect you to like get it done no matter what.
Yeah,
Right.
and plus you told them that like, yeah, I didn't finish the job. That's the whole reason why I'm not charging you.
Yeah, like she admitted it.
I was alone in my salon that day, so I offered her. I was like, I have a helper coming tomorrow, so if you'd like, they can hold the dog and comfort it while I do the face. And they were like, no, we'll never come back. What a waste of time. And I'm like, I'm just trying to do what's best for your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Have you ever seen somebody hurting a dog?
I have, yes.
And what was the scenario? What was going on?
So this was at like a previous salon that I worked at. There was a dog. It was being pretty rowdy for most of the day. And it like, how I say, a lot of we have like a slip around their neck, and then it connects to like an arm. So the dog, it had like fallen off of the table. And I mean, it does happen occasionally, but we always have to keep a hand on the dog to make sure that doesn't happen. The dog fell off the table, and instead of immediately like scooping it up, they like let it hang there for like a minute to like punish it.
Oh my god!
So
my
yeah, that was
gosh.
probably the craziest thing I've seen.
Wow, that's insane.
Sure.
They got fired. We switched
Yeah?
them out, and they got fired.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's their name?
I can't say that.
That way we can look them up on Facebook. On Facebook, yeah. All right, from Google reviews, Pedro Elizardo posted, very disappointed, very upset. I do not recommend them at all. Just got done picking up my dog. His paws from his nails were bleeding. I go back and the guy in the front desk didn't care at all. I love my dogs and other pets. This is very disappointing. Yeah, and that's one of many, many different reviews that we've seen from Blue Ribbon. And like I said, apparently that owner is the same owner for the Brownsville location. And
It's just 2 locations?
And let me see. Let me go back to this message.
And that's like what's kind of disheartening too, because I was like calling different places to see what I can do and get like professional advice. And at the end of the day, they basically told me all you can do is leave a review. And I was like, there was already negative reviews, and like I will admit, like I didn't even look at them, and that's how I got in this in the first place. So I was like, I really want to take away their license. Like, oh, they're not required to have a license, and they're like, if they do get closed down, they're just gonna relocate. Which I saw some people comment, oh, they were here on Ed Carey, they closed down, now they're here on Harrison. So I was like, it's just gonna keep happening, like there's not really a way to completely stop it, just spread awareness.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the crazy things about animals is that, if somebody strangled JB, he'd have a legit.
It was my fault because I let them take my bag.
Yeah, that person, that person would go to jail. You know what I mean? But if somebody does it to your dog, it's like, it's
Well, don't they still go to jail?
no. Well,
I just feel like they don't take the time and resources, because when I did speak to the cop in the morning, I was like, yeah, I don't want to go in. They delete camera footage because y'all were an ask. He's like, even if we ask, they don't have to give it to us. We're gonna have to go
Right.
through court. And I was like, by then, like,
Because
what
they
if
have
they're
to
like,
get a, what's it called?
A warrant?
a warrant. Yeah.
yeah. So it was like, it's just happening to so many dogs. I'm not here taking your time out of your day, sir. Like, sorry for bothering you, but like, this is multiple people, which is why I'm even here on the phone with you right now. And he's like, oh, well, you can try Attorney General. Like, he was like kind of sending me somewhere else. So I called the Attorney General. They're like, oh, no, we don't handle that. That's your cops. So I was like, okay. So I called Better Business Bureau. They're like, you can leave a review, but yeah, that would be up to your cops. So I was like, so now it's up to Harlingen PD
Which
Yeah.
they don't
to
want
step
do
in.
anything.
Exactly. So I'm thinking of going in person. I'll take my dog. Like, look at her. Like, you can't send me away. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
But honestly, the cops are there to serve you, and it sounds like they're not.
Because then that's what I'm thinking too. And like the long run, like let's say they do take it seriously, do the investigation, they get shut down. They're just gonna relocate because money is money.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like, man, we have like a serial killer or something like working at
Damn dog
at,
burglar.
at that dog place, at that grooming place. Cause like after like reading all the reviews and everything, it's like if there really is no reason to harm these animals.
And it's consistently. That's what I say. Like after
And it's
3 reviews, you should
consistent.
be like, hey, let me, pay attention to these dogs.
Oh, but it sounds
No.
like somebody enjoys doing these things.
Yeah.
And to me, that's even like more like,
Look into it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because isn't that how like Jeffrey Dahmer started? He would like hurt
Exactly.
cats.
He would kill cats or animals. or
Y'all hear to
whatever.
hear first. There's
my-
a serial killer in Harlingen.
Oh my gosh, this goes back to Netflix.
He's in
That actually happened though.
That goes back to Netflix, which also has the show Love Is Blind season 6. By the way, what do you think about AD? No, just kidding. All right.
I guess okay.
Wait,
Question
hold on.
for Leslie.
Hold on. Let me put out this post before you put out
okay.
the question. There are great laws out there to protect animals, but law enforcement does not enforce those laws. Very true. And as we've learned, it's because they're not used to like, oh, I've never done a case for like somebody abusing a dog before, and because they don't know about the law, they just don't do it. They just say, well, I think this person takes care of it. They pass the buck.
I think I spoke to like 3 different people till someone was like, "Oh, tell me what happened." They're like, let me send you to the front desk. Oh, let me send you to this officer." And I was like,
Yeah. Jeez. All right. What question are you gonna ask?
My question was, you started 10 years ago grooming. Like, how did that come to be? Like, you just were like, okay, I'm gonna try pet grooming, and then
Yeah, pretty much.
so then you started working at PetSmart
Yeah,
right away.
PetSmart. I started. Well, my friend was already working there as a bather, a
Okay.
dog bather. I needed a job, so
What are the qualifications?
as a bather, really
Or-
nothing. Just you have to be over 18. That's pretty much
That's
it.
it. So you just have to be over 18 to.
Yeah, I mean they do like interviews and everything to try to select like the right person for the job because not everyone's right for the job. And then
Right.
after you just bathe the dogs and cut their nails. After you do that, then they evaluate you, decide if you're a good potential candidate for like the training program, and then they send you to like a training academy to like learn how to groom the dogs, how to
Gotcha.
cut the hair and everything.
But when you finish that training too, are you like, so now you're a certified groomer, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, so you're safety certified
Okay.
after you do your academy, and then when you get back from your academy, you have to work on like 200 dogs
okay,
in order to like be considered like a stylist.
gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a process. Like there is a little bit of a process.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's just for PetSmart.
"Yeah, I was gonna say like
Oh,
that's
okay.
Other salons,
they don't do anything.
They don't do anything. They don't have any training programs, any like background checks, any a lot of people just learn grooming off like watching YouTube videos and
Right.
stuff like that. So
Yeah, I was gonna try to do that, but I always get annoyed. That's why I'm saying, like, how do you not?
I wouldn't be able to groom and like a stranger's dog, honestly. Like maybe I can. Maybe I'm like thinking less of me, but it's like I've dealt with stressful dogs to where I couldn't deal with them, right? But I wasn't there choking them or anything. It was like, where's your owner? You know, like go find your owner or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like there has to be some sort of like for any place.
Yeah,
like,
legal. Yeah, or some type of training.
some sort of like certification. Like,
Yeah.
there's certification for nurses. There's certification for like handling food. There's certification for handling alcohol.
Yeah.
Why isn't there a certification for handling pets?
I think the background checks would be a good idea because like with the nurses example, there's still bad nurses.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
evil's everywhere. Like that's I'm like it's just all about awareness. Like there's really no way to stop. Like
yeah, and groomers will go from like one salon to another. Like,
Yeah.
if they get in
exactly.
trouble
Like you
here,
could be
they'll
the
just
best
go-
groomer for like 10 years and one day you're just gonna snap. Like, oh, this damn dog tried to bite me.
No, not me.
No, not you.
Just calling it-
No, when she said you, she meant you.
I know. I even
years.
pointed. I was like 10
Specifically 10
years.
That's
No,
a little
but
too
like-
long.
She even named the year span too.
That was just an example, I swear.
Yeah, she's not trying to say. Background checks. They hire illegals. Oh wow, that's actually, that's noteworthy as well. Yeah, well, I get.
Everywhere hires illegals though. I feel like that's still like
Yeah, and JB doesn't exactly have all his papers.
that's just
so.
comes with the area. That
He's
comes,
quiet right now.
That comes with the border. That
JB
comes with the border, the
JB had
territory.
nothing to say. Get?
No, I'm a citizen. I was born here.
Yeah, we're just messing around. But like, how how do you think that happens? Like from like what kind of environment needs to be made, or like do you think was made in under a certain ownership to where it's happening to
to both locations.
to both locations? Like it's not like I can't believe he's hiring dangerous people on purpose. Like I don't know, what do you think's going on in the environment?
I think a lot of it is just like greed. Like you want to take in as many dogs as possible, as quickly as possible. So you'll have dogs waiting there for hours and hours before they even get worked on, just because you don't want to say no to anybody, because you don't want to lose out on the money. But you should be taking care of every dog individually. You should definitely have someone that can work on like multiple dogs without getting stressed, is able to do that, is trained to do that, and it just doesn't seem to happen in a lot of salons.
Oh, okay. So pretty much what may very well be happening is that because they want to keep making the money past the amount that the labor can keep up, now the people who are the groomers are getting overworked.
Yeah.
So they're getting stressed out, and so they're taking shortcuts to be able. Well, I can't
taking
calm
it on the dog.
Yeah, I can't do what Leslie does. I can't calm this dog down. I can't work with it or what. No, I need to make sure that it
Yeah.
does physically what I need it to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I can hurry up because I'm going to be behind regardless. So I need to be
Because you have
doing
like
this
4
quick.
dogs waiting for you. And
Exactly. Wow, that's interesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes more sense.
yeah, that makes
Not doesn't make
100%
it right.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, we're not agreeing with or
agreeing with it.
empathizing in any way. Let's make that clear. We're saying this is horrible, regardless. You know, and yeah, then maybe this comes directly from management that they don't put a cap on it.
Poor
or they-
management.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to hear to hear about that. And like, I reached out to different.
You invited the groomer from Blue Ribbon. You're like, bring him in.
All right,
Honestly,
so.
yeah.
Like, why'd you strangle her dog, man?
So now we're gonna welcome in our guest. Yeah, I don't know. What
I wish.
Yeah, I wish I knew the name of the. All right, let's welcome in the groomer from Blue Ribbon Pet Grooming. Step right in. Take a seat. Take a seat. Take it easy, y'all. We're just gonna talk to her. Don't be relax. It's no big deal. Or it is a big deal. Oh,
It is a big deal.
oh, geez.
Like, that's just a basic Tuesday for me. It's like,
You know how many dogs I strangled? Oh my
he
god.
whips out a book with the tallies,
Oh my god.
specifically
He's got
Shih Tzus and
stickers.
Cocker Spaniels.
He's got stickers.
Pictures of the victims. Oh.
Those are the easiest to strangle. Oh my gosh.
Aw,
Well-
Shih Tzus, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Well, how's Paris doing now?
She's good. She's just being Paris.
How's
Like,
but
literally
how's
all
her?
she does is just sit right there, go to sleep. And her eyes, I mean, they still have the blood on it, but it's not leaking.
Okay.
Like I said, like, it just caught me so off guard when I saw the little spots. I thought she was in heat, but she wasn't. So
yeah.
And still, my heart would break every second that I look at my dog and
Yeah,
its eyes were red. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
knowing like that was a possibility that somebody was mishandling her.
yeah.
it was funny too, because the first night I noticed that I took a video and I was gonna send, like, my fiance is playing Fortnite in the room. So I was like, I'm not gonna go bother him.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned my lesson last time. So I was like, I'm gonna take a video so when he gets on his phone, he'll see. And I took a video of her. I was like, oh, my baby, like, who did this to you? And like, not noticing I said that because in my head I thought she was sick. So I was like showing him her eyes, like, oh, like, what happened? Like, who did it? My poor baby. And then turns out someone actually did do it. So I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like, I really thought she was sick. I was so convinced she was sick. So I took her to the vet and they just literally told me, like, no, it's trauma. I was like, oh.
Wow.
But yeah, they just gave me some eye drops and pills. I mean, she's been doing good. I was surprised she didn't react bad to the eye drops. Like, I was worried, like, how I was gonna have to hold her and put her in a headlock. But
Probably
But
feels
just hold her.
better. She
Yeah,
probably like it
relief.
feels
and it was
like-
weird too, because when I still don't understand how blood was dropping to the floor. Because I had her eye and I got a Q-tip and I was like, I'm gonna put it at the corner and see if I could pick up the blood. The Q-tip was clean. Like, the
Yeah.
blood wasn't spilling out her eye. So I was like, maybe there's another place that she got injured and I didn't find it when it was bleeding. Because like I
Wow.
said, she had blood on her face and on her paws. So I was like so confused where blood came from, because if she was in heat, the blood would have been on the back of her eye.
or if her eyes were like bothering her, she could have been doing like this,
Yeah,
this
that's how
kind
I
of
was, like,
thing, like,
confused.
and so she's like scratching her eye though, because she's like, hey,
Yeah, but when I
something-
touched her eye, like, there was no blood. That's why I was like so confused. Like, the blood was in her eye. It wasn't. I wasn't able to clean it.
yeah, like
Oh wow.
So I had no
Have
idea.
you seen that before? Or-
Yeah, so sometimes when the blood vessels do pop in the eyes, they also break inside of the nose. So it might have been coming out
Oh,
of
it
the
came
nose.
out
That
of the
makes
nose.
sense.
gotcha.
Oh my gosh. That's horrific.
Yeah, I mean that's like almost like brain trauma, dude. Like
That's why I was like just relieved that she wasn't like behaving weird. Because I would think if you're injured that bad to pop something back there, like, something's gonna go on in her head.
exactly.
But no, she's been acting normal Paris, just barking at the moment.
Just
sleeping.
keep an eye on her. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my grandma told me too. She's like, because I know a lot of dogs or animals, for instance, they get very emotional. So like if they get too depressed, they can pass. So she's like, oh, make sure you give her attention, make sure you give her love. Like, you don't need her to fall asleep and just not wake up. I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't really know what's going on in her head. She can't tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just been babying her.
That's good. Do you know what? This is a question I've always wanted to ask groomer because I've had some experiences with it recently, like really bad experiences. What do you do with do you do the anal glands as well?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? What are you doing when they say we also, that's part of the grooming thing, we do the
Express
anal gland?
the anal glands.
Yeah. What do you do?
So if you see your dog like dragging its butt on the floor, it might be trying to like express its anal glands. So really we just pick up the tail and like put a little bit of pressure underneath it, and then
What?
some pretty gross stuff comes out of it.
Okay.
It like shoots out like The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that your little Paris shoots out of
No,
her
my
butt?
boy, he does that. Like there'll be like slime trails of shit on the
When
floor,
they get
and I'll
excited,
go
it
put the
happens.
cameras back, and it's my dog just scooting.
Yeah, dude. Is it more prominent with the guys?
No, it's more prominent on like smaller dogs, like Shih Tzus, Schnauzers, Yorkies.
Chihuahuas.
That's why I was gonna say my Shih Tzu had. Yeah, and we would take it to the groomers, and they would express the anal gland or whatever, or they say they do. Now I'm doubting they even do, or I don't know, whatever.
They probably don't.
There was a few times like it got real bad, and so I had to do it myself. Oh my god!
Yeah.
I'm like, I just remembered.
Yeah.
And I have to do it myself, and so the second time was like the worst one. So we took him to the vet, and because we didn't know what it was, and they said that they would have to actually. Do an extraction, and so they did the extraction, and so he's been pretty good recently.
Poor Jake.
Yeah, but they said that apparently he needs to get fixed, or else
okay.
like it'll happen more prominently. I don't know.
No, I mean, I haven't really heard of that, but maybe. I'm not a vet.
Yeah, I thought that was that's why I was
Leslie's
asking.
not a vet; she's a groomer.
Yeah, no medical questions, okay?
I get them a lot, though. People are always coming to me with medical questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's like going to a nurse for like doctor's advice, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
I would say
It's
going
like
to the
going to your
reception
hairstylist
desk.
for like.
All right, my bad.
You're asking your hairstylist like why you have this pain in your arm. It's like
Yeah.
she's gonna tell you, I don't know. I'm just cutting your hair.
If that would be true with anybody else but JB. You ask JB anything and he'll tell you. He'll tell you in his opinion exactly what it is.
If I was an expert veterinarian, then this is what I would.
I have to get after JB because sometimes he'll just say things and like JB, you don't know that you're just saying it. You're just,
And I'm like right like 80%.
oh, shut up. No, you're not.
80%
You're
of
full
the
it.
time. That's better than like that's more than half.
You don't even know. You just say things. How do you even know you're right about it? He
I don't
doesn't.
know.
He
I don't
doesn't.
know. I just feel like I'm right.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for that. But yeah, the whole point of this was that we just wanted to make more awareness about it because you felt hesitant to even put it out there. You felt hesitant to even and also, there's right ways to do things. And now, we actually have a better understanding of what, what causes it. So even though there's groomers that are like, oh, sorry, we're backed out until like months. That's actually a good thing. They're careful
They're
about
taking their time. Yeah.
Yeah, they're careful about their workload. So, that does make me feel a lot better about that. But yeah. So any other closing statements or anything you guys wanted to put out there, or Love is Blind reviews? It doesn't matter. It could be anything.
And another, like kind of how you mentioned right now, you're like, I don't even know if they express the anal glands. When I picked up my dogs, my fiance even said it too. He's like, did they even trim their hair? Because they came back looking exactly the same.
Oh my God.
I was like, I paid $120 and they literally looked the way I dropped them off. I'm like, if anything, they smelt a little better. Their nails were cut, but I was like, anything else, like, oh yeah, we did the shaving, we trimmed, we cleaned their teeth. And I looked and they literally look exactly the same.
Oh my God.
I was like, you're telling me you had them for 6 hours. And what did you do? Spray perfume on them and strangle my dog?
Exactly.
I paid you to spray perfume and strangle my dog.
Pretty much. The more you say it, it's like.
And I didn't want to add that to the post because they'd be like, oh, now she's adding more stuff. I was like, no, my dog literally looks the same. I asked them to shave her and she's still crazy looking.
Yeah.
I get you though. Your post was hey, this happened.
Yeah, I didn't want to be all dramatic because I've seen reviews where they're all cuss words. I'll skip through it because I don't like stuff like that.
Exactly.
So I was like, let me just be as formal as I can. I even people were like, oh, we use allegedly in your post. So I didn't say they did it, but now that you're giving all this proof that other dogs went through the exact same thing, come on, not to point a finger, but that guy,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So any other final statements, Leslie?
I would say just wait for your regular groomer.
Yeah.
It's good when your dog is used to the groomer, but it's also good when your groomer is used to your dog.
Right.
Because they know what's normal, what's not normal, what they don't like, what they're fine with. So I would say once you do find a groomer that's working out for you, just to stick with them.
Yeah. All right.
And if you need a groomer, Leslie's right there.
Yeah,
for it.
exactly. 100%.
How would we be able to contact you, Leslie?
So you can contact me through Facebook. If you want to link it, I don't know. I don't know how you
Oh,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah. Let
Yeah,
me,
sure.
let me get your.
No, yeah, that's actually a great idea.
Wait, like just your personal page or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let me look it up actually. Okay. She is under LK Clark. Right, that's the one you want to.
Yes.
All right, just making sure. I don't want to. All right, so there she is. If you need some grooming done, contact LK Clark, and she will. I don't know, hook you up.
Are you in Harlingen or
Yes, Harlingen.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Anybody out of Harlingen, but she'll cut your grass as well for
No
I
matter.
will not watch Love is Blind, though. I won't do it.
Oh, you'll love it.
Charge a fee if they
You'll-
bring it up.
You'll hate it, but you're gonna be like, oh, why am I watching this?
That's the best part about it is that those are the best shows. The shows that you hate. I hate those. Oh, I love it. I love how much I hate this. These people are disgusting.
Dude, I'm gonna have to check up on your dogs periodically, dude. Like myself, I'm gonna have to check and make sure that there's no blood anywhere or anything.
Yeah, no, they're fine. They'll be good.
Yeah, no, what's their norm? Because like a lot of the reviews are like, oh, they told me my dog came in like that. So I'm like, okay, now I know if I do end up going to another groomer,
Check 'em
I'm gonna check
before.
my dog before I take pictures. But hey, like, look at the timestamp. Like, this was not here. Like, don't give me that shit.
Yeah.
And I always do that to the dogs that I check in. I'm like, look at that. I'm like, look at that
Point it out
scab.
first.
I'm like, it already has that. It wasn't
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so important. And do you know what? For my groomers, just for my own peace of mind, I think I'm gonna take a picture of my dog's butt now, just to make sure that the
That they did it.
yeah, make sure that
Like, I'm not doing that again.
yeah, I need to make sure that the bump is there before and it's
Gets taken
smaller.
care of.
Yeah,
Gets taken care of.
yeah, at least smaller before.
And then
right?
you're gonna go to a
only so much you can
restaurant,
do.
take out your phone, say, why do you have dog butthole pictures? She's like, hey, like, just don't look at that.
Those aren't going to be the
For
worst
my
pictures
safety.
in there. I'll tell you that.
It's a long story.
They'll talk about the other pictures before they talk about the dog.
It started
pictures.
with this place called Blue Ribbon.
All right, but yeah, thank you both so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, of course, thank you for coming on. That's
We
the
learned
hard-
a lot of stuff, like a lot of good things.
It's so hilarious. This has been the most educational one for us.
Probably, yeah. So for this year, yeah, so far.
Yeah. We'll have an end of the year awards, and if we'll nominate you guys for most educational.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
gonna be a new
Yeah, new category, most educational show. Yeah. Well, we've been stacking categories up every year, so
I've
we'll be in
lost
touch.
count. I don't even know how many.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and thank you everybody who's been watching. And yeah, pretty much, that's what we came out with, right?
Be
Just
aware. Watch your dogs. Like
look at the reviews before. Stick with your usual groomer, and if you don't have your usual groomer, contact LK and she'll help you out. And yeah. Have a great rest of your night, everybody, and we'll see you all later.